The former President of South Africa, Mr. Nelson Mandela, late Nelson Mandela, had once stated that education is the biggest weapon to change a society. But the powers that be in Kolkata has been weaponizing education for the last so many years to claw away the very ethos, the ethics and fabrics of Darjeeling society. If you have to go into the past, Darjeeling always had a glorious educational history. We have institutions like Loreto Convent that was set up much before any other universities or colleges in any part of India had been set up. We have institutions like St. Roberts who catered to the underprivileged children of our community from a very long time ago. We have higher educations like St. Joseph's College and Government College that have catered to the higher education learning of our community. But for the last so many years, education and the educational system have been systematically attacked, harpooned, lampooned by the administration in Kolkata. And I very much believe that there is a larger play at, there is a larger agenda at play. As the president of a local NGO, we have been working in the education sector for the last 8 years. And what we have seen working in the most rural parts of our Darjeeling Hills and Kalimpong as well, is that in the last 8 years or so, the educational qualification and the quality has been going down the drains. Our students today, as I compared, I had this opportunity of going to one of the local schools. I'm not going to name that school from this platform. I was addressing a gathering of class 9 and 10 students in that school. And I happen to be from a science background, so I take interest in science. So I asked him a few questions about maths, about science. Rudimentary questions that could be answerable by any student of that section. But unfortunately, they were not able to do so. I lowered down the standard. I brought down the standard for them. Then I asked them for class 7. They were not able to answer. Class 6, they were not able to answer. 5, 4, you won't believe, we have students in class 9 and 10 right now in our schools who can't answer a rudimentary basic English question or maths or science question from class 3 level from ICSE curriculum. The disparity between the educational system in our government schools and our English medium schools or private run schools that we so call is so great that given the corruption in the education system in our hills, if this is not addressed urgently and on an emergency footing, we are going to lose an entire generation to incompetence of our leaders and those who are sitting in Kolkata who are paging this and helping them run this huge educational mafia in Darjeeling Hills. Darjeeling, which was once the place where kings and queens of Nepal and Bhutan and ministers of different countries came to study. There was a pride in saying that my student or my lad or my child is studying in Darjeeling, in some reputed education there. So much so that Darjeeling was once called the Oxford of West Bengal, right? But this very Oxford has for the last 75 years so much declined in its glory and reputation that today Darjeeling, despite being the center of renowned educational institutions, we do not even feature in top 3 most literate districts of West Bengal. According to 2011 census, Darjeeling is now the 7th most literate state. And very much so in our next census will be sliding even further. So this speaks volumes about the kind of administration that we have had in hills, in general, and in the education system in particular. We had our previous speakers who had said that we gave 4 UPSC aspirants last year. There were 4 students from Darjeeling Hills or Darjeeling district who cleared UPSC exams. Jashi Pradhan was one renowned name that everyone felicitated after her success. And then we have Ajay Kotan Bhai, But we say from this platform that successes like Jayshree Pradhan and Ajay Mokhtar is not because of the system, it is despite the system it is. They are not because of the system. They are not born because of the education system prevalent in the hills right now. They are born despite the system. We students here in Darjeeling Hills, competing in different parts of India, we know what competition is all about. Having studied in Delhi University myself and being a WBCS officer, I have seen competition close hand. But the level of education and academics that's being imparted to us generation right now, I very much doubt we'll be able to compete in our own hills in few years to come. That's why we have people complaining about nurses in our nursing academy, all coming from Bengal or other parts of other districts of the state, and we're not having our very few own Gorkha students in our nursing academies. I want to ask the administration from this platform, I want to ask the administration that what is the support system that we have put in place to take out nurses from your schools? What are the mechanisms that we have set in motion to help our students excel in life? The only thing your education system right now is churning out in large numbers are your future party cadres. That's all. That's all your education system is doing right now. And they are being supported by those who are sitting and watching. Most probably they will be seeing this. And I don't want anything to be lost in translation. That's why I'm addressing them in the language that they know in Kolkata, that it's high time that Darjeeling types its voice back, and we have people like Mr. Vikas Ranjan Bhattacharya, who is helping us in this great fight of ours. Now, let me also address few talking points that the people in power in hills have been using to justify the illegal appointment made in the recent years. Now there's this new narrative that has been sprung up, right? To hide the corruption, they are using the age-old formula of the outsiders versus the locals, whereby the petitioner himself, the main petitioner, someone like the name of Mr. Joseph Mandal, happens to be a resident of Nadia, they are using that logic to amplify the argument that tomorrow, if this case finds its rightful end, there will be candidates from other parts of the district or the state coming and competing with our local candidates here in Darjeeling Hills. To them, I show them the Indian Constitution. Today, I refer them to Article 16 of the Indian Constitution, which states the right to equal opportunity to government appointments. If we stay in Darjeeling, have the right to compete in government jobs, be it the West Bengal Civil Services or the SSCs or the FSIs or whatever central or governmental jobs that can be there, any person living in any part of India has equal opportunity to compete in government jobs in this part of our country. Because Darjeeling is not alien. We are not Kashmiris. We do not believe ourselves to be inseparable part from country. We are as much an inseparable part than any other part of this country. So for them, let me put this argument to rest. Please stop using this outsider versus the locals logic. But by that same logic, our candidates should not be able to compete in any of the government exams outside Darjeeling Hills. Are you ready to accommodate them in Darjeeling itself? That is my question to you. Is your GTA competent enough to accommodate all the students, all those candidates who are sitting for various governmental exams in any part of the country? Please answer me that. You are hiding behind this facade, this age-old emotional argument of the outsider versus the locals. हाम्रो बाहिरको मान्छेले छिनेर लान्छ अरे भाग बनाएर देऊ न पहिला अन्त छिन्ने कुरा गर भाग बनाएर देऊ पहिला छिन्ने कुरा त्यहाँदेखि गर SSC, there was this notification that came out today by the Honorable Chief Minister herself. Despite there being a ruling by the Supreme Court of the country, she went beyond all constitutional guidelines, administrative niceties to accommodate the illegal appointment of all the teachers whose appointment have been struck down by the Supreme Court of India. She has shown that where there is a will, there is a way. And where there is a political will, there is always a political way. Right? So, despite there being provisions in the GDA Act relating to the establishment of a regional SSC in Darjeeling Hills, and you being out a notification to the contrary on the same in the last 3 years, why hasn't been our regional SSC been allowed to function? That is my question to you. If you can go against the will of the Supreme Court of this country, why can't you set up a simple regional SSC for Darjeeling Hills? Where is your political will? The Honorable Chief Minister, where is your political will for Darjeeling Hills? Are we not the part of Bengal? Don't you want to see your age-old Kanchanjana smiling? Amar Gorkha Thai Bondu Hashin? Don't you want to see us smiling further? My question is to you. Show that same very political will when it comes to questions arising to Darjeeling. Because last I checked, Darjeeling is still a part of West Bengal. Or if you don't consider us a part of West Bengal, then please stay so in as many words as you can. Also, there is a second narrative being spun by the local administration in favor of this illegal appointment. That काम आफ्नै मान्छेले त पाएको का है जो illegal appointment हुआ का the work that has been received, the jobs that have been created has been got by the local candidates themselves. That is their justification, the second justification of their illegal argument. ठीक छ आफ्नै local candidate पाए. Yeah, we can think that may not all 313 candidates be from Darjeeling Hills, but majority of them are there. But can you please tell me how many of those 313 candidates are qualified to be a teacher? How many of them are qualified to be a teacher? Because unqualified teachers give birth to unqualified students. Unqualified students give rise to unqualified system. And unqualified system gives rise to corruption. You are fomenting and abating the rise of corruption in every department by giving appointments to your political lackeys. आफ्नै मान्छेले पाओस् आफ्नै मान्छेले तर आफ्नै क्वालिफिकेसन भएको मान्छेले पाएको हुनुपर्छ नि त आफ्नो क्वालिफिकेसन भएको मान्छेले पाउनुपर्छ. So to all those who have been turning this outsider versus locals argument, this आफ्नै मान्छेले पाउनुपर्छ argument, there is an open challenge to you from the civil society over here. कुनै मञ्चमा बोलाऊ. हामी आएर तर्क गर्नको लागि रेडी छ. Civil body is ready to debate with you. The so-called propaganda officers of GDA, the so-called spokespersons of GDA, there is an open challenge to you. English बुझ्दैनौ नेपालीमा भन्छु. तिमीलाई खुल्ला च्यालेन्ज छ. वार्ताका लागि बोलाऊ. हामीलाई बोलाऊ र भन्न. त्यति बेला जस्तै तिमीहरूको यो 5 डेसिबलको नरेटिभ हामीले ध्वंस गर्न सकेन भने त्यसमा मैले हामी गोर्खाको छोराए. Also, I can't help but compare ourselves to a small state on the other side of River Vista. Because the people there and in Darjeeling Hills have shared a common history. We share a common language, we share a common heritage, but unfortunately we do not share a common administration. Sikkim recently, on a single day, the Legislative Assembly of Sikkim passed a bill for a formation of 7 universities on a single day. 7 universities on a single day. And in the last 75 years, how many universities have we got in Darjeeling? A big zero. That is your accomplishment, Mrs. Chief Minister, Ms. Chief Minister, Mr. Chairperson of GTA. That is your accomplishment. A big zero. You are a big zero. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Look into the mirror and think what you can do the best for the hills. Where is our university? Where is our own, very own administrative system? You still are running under the guidance of Shiksha Bhavan in Kolkata. And that guidance, unfortunately, is not positive. The negative guidance you have been. That is why you have been running a second-rung mafia orchestrated by the Education Minister of West Bengal himself, copied, pasted, and very badly implemented in Darjeeling Hills by the local leaders of GDA. Also, अन्तमा जाँदा जाँदै तपाईहरूले यहाँ अगाडि देख्न सक्नुहुँदैछ होला, यो सभा केवल सुदन गुरुङको न्यायको लागि खाली होइन, यो सभा हामी ती सबै व्यक्ति विशेष, ती सबै आवाजहरूको लागि हामीले डाकेका हौँ जसले विभिन्न विवादमा बस्नुभयो र विभिन्न प्रकारको भ्रष्टाचार देखिरहनु भएको छ, विभिन्न प्रकारको इरेगुलारिटिजहरू भएको देखिरहनु भएको छ। त्यस्तो व्यक्तिहरूलाई पनि अगाडि आएर समाजमा यस भ्रष्टाचारलाई उजाम्रो पारिदिने भनेर आठ दिनको लागि पनि यस सभा डाकिएको। किनभने देयर इज अ विसलब्लोअर प्रोटेक्सन एक्ट, त्यसमा हाम्रो शैली ज्यादा भन्नु सक्नुहुन्छ। आज सुदनले केवल एजुकेसन सिस्टममा खालि भ्रष्टाचारको उजालो गरेको छैन, तर तेस्रो एजुकेसन सिस्टम जस्तो अरू डिपार्टमेन्ट कतिजना छ जिटिएमा, कतिवटा विभागमा चाहिँ भ्रष्टाचार भएको छैन भन्न सक्छौँ हामीले पुनश्च रूपमा। कतिजना सभासद, भारप्राप्त सभासद, मेम्बर इन ड्युटी नभएको हावाको टाइटलहरू लगाएर हामीलाई जनता र आँखामा घोल लगाएर यो लोकल रिजनल अटोनोमीको नामको फसाड चलाएर हामीलाई उनीहरू टिङ टुइङ टुइङ गर्दै रातो र निलो बत्तीले हिँड्नेहरू, हावाको प्रशासनिक घमण्ड देखाउनेहरूले कतिजनाले भन्नु सक्छ हाम्रो विभागमा भ्रष्टाचार भएको छैन भनेर। ती तमाम व्यक्तिहरूलाई पनि, ती सबै आवाजहरूलाई पनि शिक्षा विभागको जस्तै सुदन गुरुङ प्रत्येक विभागमा जन्मेको होस् भनेर हामीले आह्वान गर्दछौँ। आउनुहोस्, पहाडी आउनुहोस्, हामीलाई भेट्नुहोस्, सिभिल बडीलाई भेट्नुहोस्। विकास गर्जन सर उहाँ समयमा आउनुभएको छ। तपाईँको सुरक्षाको जिम्मा हामी लिन्छौँ, तपाईँको लिगल सुरक्षाको जिम्मा हामी लिन्छौँ। हामीलाई भेट्नुहोस्, हाम्रो नम्बर सहरमा जाने छ। सबैले ध्यान धाप्नु मान्छेहरू हामीको हो कताको हो भनेर आउनुहोस्, भेट्नुहोस्। खुला रूपमा आउनु सक्नुहुँदैन, अहिले सोसियल मिडियाको जमाना छ, आएर त्यसमा तपाईँहरूले हामीले सम्पर्क साध्न सक्नुहुन्छ ताकि भोलिको दिनमा हामीले प्रत्येक विभागमा सुदन गुरुङ जन्माउन सकोस्, प्रत्येक विभागमा आवाज दबाउन नसकोस्, प्रत्येक विभागबाट भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त भएपछि दार्जिलिङमा एउटा चिन्तनशील, विवेकशील नेतृत्व दिन सकेपछि खालि हाम्रो जुन चाहिँ पहाडले यत्रो वर्षसम्म खोजेको गन्तव्य हामी त्यति बेला पुग्न सक्छौँ।